Good morning. Good Saturday morning. Glad to have you with us. Sports talk the next couple hours. There we go. I was bouncing from ear to ear for a minute, and now it's in both. Mike, what, you got your checkbook out?
No,
man's writing us a check this morning over here.
No, just a few notes about some awful announcing on the ACC network. I wanted to
tell me about it. Let's roll with it. I like it. That's a good subject to start with this morning because we are the kings of awful announcing.
Yeah, well, that's right. Since we're the kings, but no.
That's a website or something.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, there's a website
there.
or a Twitter account or something.
Anyway,
awful announcing.
When they for the night, for instance, the Duke California game at halftime, they go to a panel, right? Remember?
Do you say so?
Yeah, I can't think of the three panelists. One of them is the former point guard at North Carolina, Joel Berry, and another guy. In this case, it happened to be a former player for Syracuse. But anyway, twice during the halftime show, he referred to Mason Gillis as Shane Gillis, who is a comedian, by the way, and he referred to Tyrese Proctor as Tyler Proctor. So, and then in the Georgia Tech Stanford game, one of the guys said that, boy, Jalen Blakes is really adjusting well to the ACC. Well, he was at Duke for 3 years before he transferred to Stanford. So, a little example of awful announcing.
Maybe you should have said the WACC, the Western Division.
The Western Division of the ACC.
Of the ACC.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah,
does that mean you were watching the Georgia Tech Stanford?
I was flipping around. Game? I was flipping around.
Yeah, that's I'm more concerned about that.
Why was I watching that game?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
I was. Now I lost my train of thought, but Brett and I have been talking this week about different things like that, maybe with the basketball games. I was trying to think maybe they don't have enough people to go around. There's so many networks now to get games on that they don't have, as many seasoned guys doing the games.
Then I heard a rumor that, they're not going to have Carlos Boozer at halftime of Duke games because both his sons have committed or signed with Duke for next year. Possible conflict of interest. I don't know what's true.
Well, I hope he has a conflict of interest. I would want him to pull for his sons.
Well, I was going to say.
But I don't know if that would really. I wonder in the real world, does that make a difference? I mean, maybe it does. They could put him on something else.
Well, he's probably going to be at the games instead of in the studio.
He probably will be.
Well, he could give
or at least some of them.
He could give them a real report from the bench.
Right from the old front row, right, somewhere.
Good morning, Hooks. Hooks says good morning this morning. Monty Mossteller also with good morning, STG. Mike Painter is my favorite listener today because he says good morning to the best sports talk show in America.
Yeah, and, I saw him up at Barnes & Noble in Hickory the other day, and he said, yeah, you guys got the best sports talk show in this state. I said, well, thanks.
He don't get out enough.
He must not get out much beyond the outskirts of Maiden, but hey, we're glad to have him.
Yeah, maybe he did. Maybe he misspelled and put America. Maybe spell check made it say America, and it was.
Hey, we got Roby Jatan
supposed to be LinkedIn /
Can you believe it?
Maiden. Good morning, Roby
Jatan.
Glad to have him with us as well.
Former boxing great and city councilman.
Great at which now? Both, right? You say both.
Both.
You don't debate it. You say both.
Yeah, both.
You say both. Is the way that's answered. I'm just looking at some of the scores here from last night, and I do this to Brett all the time. I'm like, what are they doing playing each other? And last night it was on the way home, and it was UCLA and Indiana. And then he had to remind me, they're in the same conference now. That is just so strange.
I called a little bit of that one too.
Did you?
Yeah.
UCLA a winner 72-68. I don't know. Well, maybe we'll get a chance to go through some of the conference standings because I absolutely have no idea where these two teams stand in that conference.
Mm-hmm. I think UCLA's in the upper tier. We can look at it, but yeah.
Okay.
Of course, Indiana's just floundering.
Well, they've released the coach, right?
Yep.
Looking for a new head coach.
He'll be gone at the end of the.
Who would be a good fit for Indiana? Long tradition, but it hadn't been there in a while.
Well, we talked before the show. Brad Brunell of Clemson is I don't know. They give up great security at Clemson to go to the pressure cooker of Indiana. It'd be tough. Money talks.
Lenny says, good morning, STG, guys. Glad to have Lenny with us this morning.
Nate Oates, that's who I would want if I was going after a coach.
Yeah, he'd bring.
Tell me his resume. Give me something about him.
He's Alabama's coach.
Yeah,
that's all I really know. I don't know
who you're talking about.
I don't know any more than that.
I wouldn't have remembered him by name. I don't know why, but now that you said that, I can picture him. Tell me why he would leave Alabama.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if he would.
I'm just wondering.
Either.
I thought maybe you had inside track on something there. Maybe he was gonna. Maybe he's hinting around or
Final
something.
Final Four last year. Now they're the number one team in the polls.
He's from the state of Wisconsin.
Oh, Midwest.
His last job before Alabama was Buffalo. So it's not like he's tied to the Southeast.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Where do you just thinking though?
It's like this is his 6th year at Alabama.
What would be intriguing? What would be the edge to go to Indiana?
I can't.
Over right now. I mean,
not right now.
Longer tradition.
Just the tradition
for college basketball.
Yep. Tradition.
But I don't know. They've won titles before. I don't know if that means anything to anybody.
And he's in the strongest basketball conference in the nation this particular year.
Oh yeah.
And
far.
Is he not on top? Are them and Auburn? Are they not?
Yep. Yeah, 1 and 2 today. They meet.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. 1 and 2 today. 1 and 2 in the conference.
Bruce Pearl versus.
They're 1 and 2 in the country.
Well, are they 1 and 2 in the conference?
I don't know.
That would be weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
1 and 2 in the country.
Yeah, both 10 and 1.
Okay.
Florida and Texas A&M 8 and 3. So.
Could this be the first year ever to have an one conference have all 4 teams?
Not going to happen.
At the Final Four?
Not going to happen.
Do you guys know when the last time it happened?
I remember the Big East.
Right. It was
with
Big East.
St. John. I thought there was one outcast, though. St. John, Villanova. Georgetown, but then the other one wasn't.
Was not. Yeah, that's right. I don't remember who that was.
That's a good question. Lenny's going to know that.
Lenny will know that one. Who was the other team?
Yeah, I've probably still got that Sports Illustrated.
So that was the year Villanova beat Georgetown in the.
Yeah, shot 76% from the floor. Yep.
Could we have the return of St. John?
What year was
to a Final Four?
Y'all know.
85.
Oh man, way to go, Mike. Yeah, 85. Villanova had 2 guys with the same last name.
Yeah.
What was it?
They had. I know the big man's name was Pinckney.
Ed Pinckney.
Ed Pinckney.
But they had 2 guys with the same last name. I think a guard and a big guy with the same last name.
Memphis State at that time.
Memphis State. Okay.
That's who it was. Yeah. Lenny did send that to me right before you said it.
Memphis State.
Memphis. So, figured he would be on
that one.
What were the names of those two players, Lenny, that had the same? I'm pretty sure I'm right about that.
Mike's right. Pinckney was the most outstanding player.
Mm-hmm.
Beat Georgetown in the finals after I think Georgetown maybe had throttled them a couple times in
the regular season.
Yeah,
and of course Georgetown had Ewing for one, and many other pros. Would-be pros or future pros on the team.
Must have been McLean.
Yeah, McLean. That's right.
They might have been spelled different.
They are. They are.
EAN and a.
No, one's MCCLAIN and one's just MCLAIN.
Yeah, McLean. You're right.
Dwayne and Gary.
Yeah, and a couple of them were gassed. Like at the end of that effort they put out. I never will forget that.
The one that jumps out to me, though, I think they shot 75 or 6% from the floor.
It was the.
They played perfect.
Yeah, it was almost a perfect game. That's for sure. Ned says, and thinking Alabama can probably always spend more money than Indiana. Yes, even on basketball.
Well,
would you think that now?
I probably could.
Yeah, and it's funny. Indiana's football has risen.
Yeah,
over the last few years.
That's right.
The coach stay in place.
Yeah. He is staying after going, 12 and 2 or whatever.
Yes, Lenny, they were McLean's. Lenny says, weren't they McLean's? Those guys on that great We talked about. I think we dug into the Big East a little bit last week. How good of a conference that was, and how fun that was to get. Wasn't a lot of a lot of fun. Mondays aren't always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But you could get home and watch those
Big Monday
East games. Big Monday.
Well, they started Big Monday, but based on the Big East, didn't they? I mean, Big Monday. Yeah.
Yes, right when kind of about the same time ESPN came along.
Yeah, 80s, early 80s.
And that was those were actually football games or boxing matches with a net.
Oh man,
they were physical games back when you could play a little more physical basketball. That game last night, UCLA, Indiana, 72-68, that looks like the only one on here to me that, maybe would draw the national audience.
Yeah.
Last night, I'm looking at some of these other ones. A lot of them are Ivy League. That must be their big night because Harvard beat Cornell, Penn beat Yale, Princeton beat Brown, and Columbia beat Dartmouth. I can't imagine that the Ivy League has expanded because it's so hard to be an Ivy League school. Are they still just 8?
I think just 8.
Yeah, they're still the original 8.
Yeah. Lenny says Memphis State had a player named Keith Lee. I do remember him.
I remember him.
And the coach, I can picture the coach too now that since he gave me the name. Mike,
Dana.
Yes, you're
Dana
on
something.
Yes, you're right on it. Yes, you're on it.
Yep.
And it was a man.
Yeah.
Kirk.
Dana Kirk
was the coach. Didn't he have maybe a semi-mullet?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, he later, either went to I'm trying to remember, UAB or another school after Memphis State. I'm not sure.
Memphis is one of those schools, basketball schools that they've gotten better in football over the years.
Yes.
Basketball is always a threat.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know. Isn't that where Penny Hardaway?
Penny Hardaway
play his college basketball.
And don't forget
coaching now too.
Yeah.
Memphis played Kansas for the NCAA championship. What year was that? Memorable game.
What was the guy they had? He became an NBA star too.
Derrick Rose.
Yeah, Derrick Rose from Memphis.
God, how many years has that been now? At least 5.
Yeah, it was like 08 maybe.
07, 08. Yep.
Honestly, I would have thought you were going to go back even further than that. I'm glad to hear it was only 07 or 08 because I thought we were going to have to go. First thing in my mind was 19-something, but glad to hear that it was not 19.
Well, that was one of how many teams Calipari has taken to the Final Four? Memphis. Who else? Of course, Kentucky.
UMass.
Real quickly, well, not real quickly. We'll see what we need to do here. ACC standings. I think I clicked on the wrong thing. What is? Yes, I did. It gave me. I clicked on the standings and SMU was on top. So guess what I did? You guys know what I did, right? I hit the football standings, which is hard to believe. That at one time they were the team that was on top. As I'm scrolling through here, I see Memphis is leading their conference, Mike, the American Athletic Conference. How many teams can you name in the American Athletic Conference?
Oh, boy.
They lead it with an 11-1 record, 21-4 overall, and they are ranked 14th in the nation. There's one that you and Brett let's see.
I'm already looking at it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
There's 2.
I had it pulled up before you.
2 you
asked.
should get very easily, Mike. 2 you should get very easily.
Now, name the conference again.
The American Athletic with Memphis. With Memphis and North Texas and UAB and Tulane. I was just trying to get you to name the 2 North Carolina schools that belong in that.
2 North Carolina
You got
schools.
Rice, you got UTSA, which is Texas San Antonio, Tulsa Golden Hurricane, Wichita State Shockers.
Charlotte.
There you go.
Charlotte.
That's one up.
Okay.
And don't disappoint our people out there that
ECU.
There you go.
Okay.
Don't disappoint those guys. They're in there as well. East Carolina 6-6 in conference play. Charlotte hold everybody else up. 2-10. 2-10. No wonder I hadn't heard a lot about Charlotte 49er basketball. Here's your
You got to
trivia.
go all the way back to Bobby Lutz for the glory of UNC Charlotte.
Yeah. Well, the real even further than
Oh
that.
yeah,
for the-
Lee Rose. Yeah,
for
absolutely.
the Final Four glory.
That's right.
Ned says Naval Academy, ECU. He didn't want me to leave out Navy. I was saving it for last. And UNCC also teams in that league.
So does Navy not have basketball?
Yeah, I know they're not
I guess
listed.
they don't.
They must just play in that league in football. Maybe Ned can tell us that because they are not listed in the basketball standings. What year was it, Mike, when those great UNCC?
77.
That's right.
Yep.
Final Four was?
North Carolina,
Yep.
UNCC, Marquette.
Who was the winner,
Yeah, and
weren't they?
yep. After Carolina went to its famed four corners to protect 11-point
That's
lead.
who met in the finals.
Yeah.
So
Marquette beat UNCC on the last second
Yeah.
shot by Jerome Whitehead.
Yep.
Carolina beat Vegas.
UNLV. I do remember that. Yep.
That's right.
UNLV.
The Tark, the Shark.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. That was strange. I mean, that would be strange today. I'll put it that way. That'd
Yeah.
be strange today. Yeah. Thank you, Lenny. He says UNLV.
And Al McGuire
Was the
went out
other.
on top. He retired.
He did. Who once coached that?
Belmont Abbey.
Yep. How long was he there?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I always heard the stories. I don't remember him coaching there, but I always heard the stories that he got his start at Belmont Abbey. But I just do not remember.
I wonder what he was like there. I wonder if he was the same.
I can't imagine he's any different.
No, he's not
Ever.
different. Ever.
Ever. ACC standings.
He was there 57 to 64.
Oh, wow.
Well, pretty good stint.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
He basically invented a whole language, didn't he? Phrases and adjectives to describe the game. Aircraft carrier. What were some of the others that he came up with?
I don't know.
Down to the wire. Wire job was one. A lot of them.
Yeah, he was Rick Pitino before Rick Pitino, wasn't he? I mean,
Mhm.
they remind you a lot of each
They
other.
really do. Big city, urban guys. Yeah.
Good coaches.
Uh-huh.
Most of all, good coaches. Yeah, I just wonder what, I don't know. Don't have a clue the connection that got him to Belmont Abbey or whatever. I guess just a young coach looking for a job. And,
Yeah, Catholic school.
Yeah,
Maybe. Yeah.
Could
young
be
coach.
could be the whole hotel right there. Just-
Sure. Looking to get a start.
Lenny says that Final Four that we've been talking about there with UNLV, Carolina, Charlotte, and Marquette, the Omni in Atlanta. I guess in Atlanta. Ain't that where the Omni was all those years?
Yeah, that's right.
1977.
Mm-hmm.
1977 was that one. That's whenever Marquette still wears some of the – I like their uniforms, but back then, it was one of a kind.
One of a kind. They were pretty loud.
They were.
Gaudy.
They were the Warriors back then.
Yeah.
That's right.
And now they're Eagles or
Is it Golden Eagles?
Golden Eagles?
I think.
I think they had a guard in addition to Jerome Whitehead. Butch Lee, is that his name? He had a really good guard that year.
Was that the same year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, they had one that was
But I think it was
Butch Lee, and he was terrific.
Can you name the top scorer in that NCAA tournament?
Cornbread?
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at there. Cornbread Maxwell.
Yep.
123 points.
I knew he had a really good tournament,
Yep.
and just the fact that Brett asked the question made me think, maybe off the Charlotte team. How many of those Charlotte starters can you name besides Cornbread? I can remember Lou Massey.
Wasn't there a guy named King,
Yeah,
Kevin King, Lou Massey?
yeah. I couldn't. I would not be able to name any more without looking them up. I don't think. And that Rose, he was the head coach,
Yeah,
right?
Lee
at that
Rose.
time. Lee Rose.
Melvin Watkins.
Melvin
I
Watkins.
do remember that.
That's right.
Now that you said it, I remember Melvin Watkins. And, that- really good team. I mean, they were just
Yeah.
Out of Reedsville. He was from Reedsville High School.
really
Where did Cornbread play? Kinston?
Kinston.
local team.
It was.
Local team getting it done. Are those the two? Well, you got to throw some 4As in there too, but those two are two basketball powerhouses in this state,
Oh, yeah.
and it just goes to show you how far back
It
that
goes.
the talent was there.
Melvin Watkins
That
coached at Charlotte for a few years, and then Texas A&M for 6 years.
Head coach at
Yep.
Texas A&M. Wow,
Okay.
98 to 04.
you'd have got me on that trivia for sure.
Now, Cornbread played professionally, Celtics
Mm-hmm.
for one.
Yeah.
Was Watkins after Jeff Mullins?
Good question. I don't know the years.
And did Mullins follow Lee Rose?
Now that it seems like he did,
Yeah.
but I can't swear to that by no way at all. But got a couple messages coming in here. If I can figure out in answer to your basketball question, Brett, he says Navy and West Point both play in the Patriot League
Patriot.
in basketball. I'm guessing he means in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Lenny says Maxwell, Massey, Watkins, Kevin King, and Chad Kinch.
Chad Kitch was a guard. That's right.
Chad Kinch, I think, is what he ends it
Yep.
with, and I do remember that name too.
Yeah.
Not one I would ever guessed or ever run across, and
Mm-hmm.
had it for.
Yeah, that semifinal game against Marquette, very low scored. I think it was like 51-49, or just not a lot of points in that one.
Yeah.
So I recall.
No shot clock back in the day.
Right.
No 3-point line
No
back in
three-point
the
line.
day. Here's you a good trivia question. What year did those two things come into play
Ooh.
in college basketball? Which was first, shot clock or 3-point line? You know? I mean, I don't think they both came in at the same time. But I'm thinking,
I think the shot clock was first.
do you?
I do too.
I'm not sure. I'm
Wasn't
really
that
not
in a
sure.
reaction to, we had a couple ACC tournament games, 12-10, 14-8. It was just really just some examples of stall basketball.
Lenny says Bobby Lutz took Watkins' place at UNCC.
Oh.
And let's see.
Yeah, this says Lee Rose, then Mike Pratt, Jeff Mullins, Bobby Lutz,
Bobby Lutz. And a bunch since, right?
Alan Major.
Major.
But this, I don't think this tells every single coach. It's just the ones that were there for a while.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mark Price, I didn't remember that.
Yep.
Well, Mark Price.
Short stint, right?
15 to 17.
Yep. Very short.
Mm.
Don't know why it was very short.
Two and a half seasons.
Yeah.
I forgot about Mark
Mm.
Price.
Not sure exactly.
Houston Fancher took over as the interim, and then Ron
Former app
Sanchez.
coach.
Yeah.
Mm.
Of whom Lavelle Hall played,
Mm.
coach for, right?
Mhm.
Or coach with.
Yes.
But now, do you know the coach now? I've never heard of him.
At Charlotte.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know him.
Is his last name Rose? I'll never get it then.
I don't know.
Have you heard? You've never heard of
Nah.
him? Okay.
Aaron Fearn, Fearne.
Fear none. I do not know him.
Born in Wales.
Based on what they've done this year, he may be on the hot seat.
Yeah, I was gonna say how long will his stay be?
Yeah, short-lived.
with 2-10 in the conference
Yeah.
and 9-16 overall. And maybe it's his first year. And
Could
if it is
be.
his first year, does it say that there, Brett? What season he's in? But
This is second.
second. Mm.
Okay.
He's 28 and 28 so far.
Okay,
Oh,
so
well, he must have
much
done-
better year last year.
Oh,
then.
yeah.
So they give him a pass, give him another year.
Oh, that's
Probably give him 3.
New South Wales, Australia is where he's from.
Ooh,
Oh well,
wow.
well, pretty good basketball
Yeah.
in
Yeah, so
Oh,
he's
yeah.
coached.
in Australia. I mean, I would think that over.
It looks like all his jobs before Charlotte were in Australia.
Boy, if Lenny's right on this, and you guys can name the coach that was between Lee Rose and Jeff Mullins, you win a biscuit. I mean, this is.
Then I'm a scholar and a gentleman if I get that one.
Yes.
Between Lee Rose and Jeff.
And I don't know. Lenny said, but Lenny starts it with "I think."
Oh,
Well, this list says there were 2.
Took Lee Rose's place, and then came Jeff Mullins.
Yeah.
So,
can't imagine.
Wikipedia shows 2 coaches in between.
do they?
And I already told you one was Mike Pratt.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Pratt.
And now you're
from
looking at the
out
other
of
one.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Mike, I'll give you his initials. It was HW.
Yeah. He was right before Jeff Mullins.
HW.
Yep. HW.
Struggling.
That sounds like an old man in a TV commercial.
Yeah.
HW. Something.
W.
How Whistle.
How?
Or Whistle or
Wow.
Whistle.
I've never
How-
got that.
How
in the
about,
world.
yeah. I don't know if I've ever heard the name.
No, I don't
I'm
remember
sure.
that at
Well,
all.
I'm sure we've heard the name because if he was there after those guys, but
He's 22 and 62 in his 3 years.
oh man,
Very
ouch.
forgettable.
Yeah, I wonder where he
What-
landed after that.
What was Mike Pratt's record at Charlotte?
56 and 52.
Okay. Yeah.
Lee Rose was 72 and 18.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
God, he didn't stay long then,
And
did he? I
before
mean,
that,
to be,
Bill
to be that
Foster.
good. Which Bill Foster? Clemson or Duke?
Clemson. There wasn't either one.
Clemson.
Oh, Clemson.
Yeah,
Clemson,
he
Bill
left
Foster.
Charlotte and went to Clemson.
Okay.
He
That
was
so weird that Duke and Clemson at the same time had a Bill Foster.
I
as
know.
head
Yeah.
coach.
I know.
he was 88 and 38 in his
Pretty
5
good.
years.
That's not
Yeah.
bad either.
Bad at
What about
all.
Bobby Lutz?
He's the most winning.
He probably got more wins.
Yeah.
More win.
Because
yeah.
of
218 and 158.
Okay.
58%. 158%.
Okay.
Yeah, Lee Rose won 80%, but only their 3 years.
Yeah.
I wonder why it's so short.
And Bill
Lutz is
Foster,
winning the,
69%.
most.
The stint. I just wonder why it was so short.
Well, he left and went to Purdue. This says.
Well, that's why it was so short.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's right.
Bigger
Fish to fry.
name on the other line. Is that what they say? So
And then South Florida, and then all NBA assistant jobs after that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he didn't do great at Purdue. Well, no, he did. 50 and 18 in
Huh.
2 years.
Pretty good.
and then gone. I wonder if
And then
health
went to
got him or
South
something.
Florida.
Oh, he went to South Florida.
So
You
yeah,
leave
I don't
Purdue
know.
for
You
South
know,
Florida. The check must have been good, and there wasn't much
Weather.
sunshine.
How about the weather?
Wasn't much sunshine
in Indiana?
Is it West Lafayette?
West Lafayette.
Yeah.
It's pretty cold in the winters up there.
Yeah. And he had been in Charlotte, which is not
Yeah.
nothing
He,
like
he,
West
did- he
Lafayette.
probably took that job for the weather.
He may have. Yeah, but here's the funny thing about South Florida. South Florida's in Central Florida. Do you know that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's around Tampa, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's South Florida. You know, I don't know how they got the name South Florida when it's. I heard Stu Gotts laughing
Stu
about that
Gotts.
one day. Why they call it South Florida? It's not in South Florida.
Yeah.
And he's in South Florida. He's in Miami, you know. So I want to go through the ACC standings real quick, but first we're gonna. Brett, you want to do your lyrics first today? I know you went last week, and I like to move it around because sometimes we start running out of time. So you got them ready?
I do.
Have at it.
I live on an apartment on the 99th floor of my block.
I know it.
Back in a moment.
The Get Out and Ride sales event is underway at Full Throttle Power Sports in Lowell. Get up to $3,000 off select models of Yamaha side-by-sides. But that's not all. See the Suzuki King Quad with 0% financing for up to 36 months or $2,000 in customer cash back. And see the legendary Kawasaki Ninja bikes. And see the new Ninja Razor Pro lineup. All at Full Throttle Power Sports, 100 Indian Walk in Lowell. Online at ncfullthrottle.com.
Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln has been serving the Piedmont of North and South Carolina since 1919. Sure, they deliver to your home with home heating oils. They'll help keep you warm, but they do a whole lot more. They feature bulk fuel delivery, on-site and commercial fueling, backup generator fueling, and farm and agricultural fueling. For home or business or farms, call on Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln, 704-735-2508. Online at rhodesandbill.com, located at 1404 East Main Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook, too.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vale. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vale. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
This is Creighton Kell with Kell Insurance. We have been helping people for over 25 years with all their Medicare needs. We represent the same national and local companies as the insurance agencies you see on TV. And you know what? We can sit down with you one-on-one and help you find the right plan just for you.
Kell Insurance is located beside the Cultural Center and behind Gillum Realty in downtown Lincoln. 107 North Cedar Street. Call 704-732-4646 and follow them on Facebook. Kell Insurance.
Look who just flew into town. Wild Birds Unlimited has expanded their nature shop, the latest in beautiful Denver, North Carolina. You'll want to take the short drive from Lincoln for all your seeds and feeders, hobby guides, gift cards, and more. Philip and Renee look forward to seeing you soon, and tell them that WLON sent you. Wild Birds Unlimited, now serving Lincoln and Catawba counties. Wild Birds Unlimited.
At Scooters Coffee, we like to think of ourselves as day makers. A quick stop at Scooters can mean a fresh start to the morning, a midday break, or an afternoon reward to a long, busy day. Scooters Coffee has hot drinks, cold drinks, protein shakes, smoothies, and don't forget their great selection of food items. And Scooters reminds you to have an amazing day with a sticker on every item. Stop by 689 North Highway 16, Denver today. Scooters Coffee, serving smiles every day.
Welcome back. Glad to have you with us. A couple things I want to say here, then we're going to get back to Brett's lyrics. First of all, anybody that follows me on Twitter, I was hacked this week. Those are not my posts, although a lot of people have jokingly said something about my post. Most recently, Chris Mathiel last night at of East Lincoln making.
What's your
making
Twitter handle?
I'm not even going to tell you.
Okay.
The same. It's always, well, it's changed now.
Same as it ever was?
Same as it ever was, but I created a new one.
Okay.
Talking Heads.
Yep. Talking Heads.
Let's see. Lenny says Lee Rose went to Purdue and made it to the 1980 Final Four. Who was in that 1980? That sounds like Louisville. Louisville winning that one seems.
They did, yeah.
Okay.
Doctors of Dunk,
Yep. Ned gets the lyrics right and the group.
Hey, I got to give
And
me
guess
some
who
props.
else? Guess who else gets the lyrics and the group?
Selena Kubert.
Nope.
No.
Hey, that's funny. Same initials.
Steve K.
You
Steve
got
K.
it. You got it.
Steve K is listening.
You
in
got
the
it.
house.
Yeah.
Steve, I thought for sure I'd see you at the East Lincoln North Lincoln game last night.
His two favorite schools.
Oh, yeah, great game last night there. North Lincoln getting the sweep in both of those, sweeping East Lincoln.
Now, the women haven't lost since their season opener, right?
Yeah, that they lost by like 40.
Close to 70.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
To Lake Norman, who I think is
Lake Norman's a power.
Well, I think they're in the NCAA Women's Final Four from what I hear about them.
Yeah.
Or got a good chance to get there.
That game was 93-25.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah, it is.
That they lost that, and since they have run the table.
Run the table.
You know, they have run the table.
And don't they have like 3 great sophomores? I mean, it's a young team, correct?
Yeah, they are. They're young. Most of their
4 sophomores starting.
Wow.
Most of their scoring comes from sophomores.
Yep. Yep.
They might be a state contender.
Yeah, well, next year, new conference, new classifications,
right.
new opponents. I mean, they're going to see a lot of familiar faces.
I think it was actually 3 sophomores, a freshman, and a senior.
Wow.
Starting.
Didn't all those girls play together, like on a travel team or something? Kind of came.
I don't know their background.
I think that's true.
That's what I hear. I can't confirm that.
I can't confirm that.
That's what
either.
I hear. So as they do play.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they're pretty good, and they're tall.
Yeah, I heard they were tall.
Even the guards are, just looking at them, they look like they were 5'10".
Mm-hmm. An
athletic, tall team.
Athletic, scrappy, whatever you want to say. They pretty much do it. You know. I mean,
I can't wait for the playoffs because.
And East Lincoln's good. You know. I mean, East Lincoln's good. Very good.
Oh yeah, any team that Jason Odie coach is going to be pretty good. Guy's a good coach.
Yeah, North Lincoln should be at home in boys and girls for multiple rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to I'm going to some playoff basketball games because I ain't seen a lot of good basketball.
Brett reminded me that they do 2. You know, it's not 3 anymore. It used to be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And last year the first year they went to 2.
Yeah.
But it's because they play the regional finals and the championships the same week now. Same week, which
at
is
Lawrence Joel, baby.
Yeah, instead of that long week off for everybody. Play on Saturday and then don't play again until the next Saturday. Now they're both in the same week. I like it a little better because you don't have to play 3.
That's right.
3 in a week. Brett, one more time because we've had some people get those lyrics correctly.
I got to give. Who'd you say got it? Who'd you say got that?
Who got the lyrics?
Yeah.
Right. That would be Steve K and Ned.
Yeah. Got to give Ned his props. He's a little younger. I don't know. Was he even born when this song came out? I'm not sure.
Well, it'd have to be a little younger.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Yeah, the guy that came up with the lyrics.
Well, I didn't come up with them.
I
just chose them.
Chose those lyrics. You wish you would have come up with them.
That was one of this supergroup's early albums, maybe their second album.
Tell them who it was, Brett.
Third.
Read them one more time.
I live on an apartment on the 99th floor of my block.
I knew the lyrics because he says I live on an apartment instead of in an apartment. And knowing Mick Jagger, he may have lived on an apartment.
He was out on the roof.
Living on somebody else's apartment, right?
Yeah.
And that song is?
Get off of my cloud.
Off of my
Get
cloud.
off of my cloud. That's a really good one. And at one time, that might have been their most popular song. You know, I mean, I don't know if you'd still say that or not, but at one time it was.
Well, I always go back to Satisfaction. But
Why? Because you can't get that?
That's right.
But
driving around the world.
But is that your favorite?
My favorite? No.
Mine would be maybe Paint It Black or.
That's a good one. The classic ones, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many.
It'd
be, when it came out, Start Me Up was very popular.
One. How about It's Only Rock and Roll?
Yep.
It's a great song.
Yeah. They have so many, I could never choose. And hopefully they'll just keep going. They just, keep plugging along, don't they?
Well, Mick's been in the news a lot lately because his one-time girlfriend, Marianne Faithfull, passed away.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that her given name?
Not sure. Probably a stage name.
I do remember seeing that about 2 weeks ago, I think. Maybe that happened. ACC real quick. Duke leads 13-1. They did suffer their first loss last week at the hands of the Clemson Tigers. Lanny's happy. How about when's the last time beat Duke and Carolina back to back?
Probably never.
Maybe never. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I bet that's they in a normal year I would not want them to schedule me with those two back to back.
1 day between.
And 1 day between. Yep. The only thing going for them was they had them both at home, but other than that, that's a tough stretch.
What does that tell you? You figure Clemson would have a bit of a letdown after storming the court over Duke, but they just destroyed North Carolina, right? Or does that tell you how bad North Carolina is?
I guess that would be the question. Who's it tell you more about, Clemson or North Carolina? And I guess you could have, different opinions there.
Right.
Duke, Louisville, Clemson, SMU. Duke is just one game ahead of Louisville and Clemson. How many left?
Not that many.
If they've played 14, I don't even know.
20. They played 20.
They played 20? Okay.
There's 7 left for Duke.
7?
Well, I'm sorry. 1 is non-conference.
Okay.
Yeah, Illinois.
They do play Illinois. So 6 conference games left.
Okay. When is the Illinois?
Next Saturday.
Is it?
Yeah.
In the Garden.
Yeah.
Take me back to the Garden.
They usually play a game in Madison Square Garden once a year, don't they?
I think that's going to be a good test for them. Illinois is a pretty good Big Ten team.
But it's Duke, and then as we said, Louisville, Clemson, SMU. That's to me. You can say Clemson or Louisville, either one's a surprise, but nobody's a bigger surprise to me than SMU.
I know.
Being in there at 10-3.
I didn't know they were any good in basketball.
They didn't either.
Yeah.
Wake Forest.
They're not. They're just
it tells you what the conference is like, I guess.
Yeah.
Wake Forest. Did you see Wake Forest blow one? Did you see the shot the guy took?
Yeah.
After the
Hunter, what's his name?
Salas.
I mean, he come down the court and with 7 seconds to go, he pulled up halfway between the 3-point line and half court and heaved it.
Unbelievable.
Did you see the bench reaction?
Yeah.
The players on the bench, their reaction, what are you doing?
What is he doing?
I mean, you had plenty of time to go all the way in for a layup or at least a better shot. But
I don't get it.
I don't know. Maybe he just miscalculated. Or didn't know the actual amount of time. That'd be my story anyway.
Yeah.
If I had to tell one, because that
Coach,
was ugly.
I didn't look at the clock.
It might have cost them a tournament bid.
I know.
Wouldn't that be something?
Losing to Florida. They had a 14-point lead at halftime.
Yeah.
And that was Florida State.
Yeah.
Is that where you were going with that?
Yeah.
Who has not had the greatest of years themselves, although they are playing a little better right now.
They're 15-9 overall, 6-7.
Wake Forest 10-4, 18-7.
Oh yeah, definitely on the bad side of the bubble.
Are
probably. Oh well,
I mean that's 1, 2, 3. You think only 4 solids?
I think 4 solid.
Duke, Louisville, Clemson, SMU.
Yeah.
Is SMU?
I think SMU's
good?
on the bubble.
Do you?
On the bubble
it says they've won 5 in a row, so maybe they're working their way.
I think for sure Duke, Louisville, and Clemson.
Yeah, Duke, Louisville, and Clemson are getting in.
Yeah.
And that's all the guarantees.
Who came up with the bubble?
I know. That was brilliant.
Why not the Cliff?
Yeah. Cliff would be better.
Would it? I don't know. I'd rather my bubble better.
Was it Joe Lunardi?
Than fall off a cliff. I don't know who coined the phrase the bubble. Wake Forest, Stanford is 8-6. North Carolina 7-6. What are their odds today to get in?
North Carolina got to win the tournament.
You think?
Wouldn't you say
is it that? Is it that?
Well, I would think if they went out in the regular season.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if that's doable. But
that would mean a win over Duke, who's ranked first or second?
Last game, yeah.
Third.
Because that'd be 7 games. That would put them at 21-11.
And they played one of the toughest schedules in the country. Non-conference.
Yeah. I was going to say it had to be non-conference.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, they did.
It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Notre Dame, Virginia. Boy, that one's really fell off. 5-8.
Well,
12-12 overall.
Well, it was only a month before the season started that Tony Bennett retired or resigned.
Left his heart in Charlottesville. The Pitt Panthers. I expect a little more out of Capel's teams than that.
Yeah, they've been
5-8.
Lost their last 4.
They're not going.
Syracuse. It's hard to see them at the bottom as well. California, Boston College, NC State, and Miami. So NC State's following up their Final Four year with a
Final Four at the bottom of the standing.
27th place in the ACC.
Oh, they may not make the ACC tournament. Is that not correct?
Yeah, they're not. It don't look like they're going to.
The bottom three don't. Is that what we heard last week? The bottom three.
They're 3 games out.
They're not.
They've lost 9 in a row.
So right now, well, yeah. I mean, that's set to me. Boston College, NC State, and Miami. I don't think they can gain three wins on the teams ahead of them and make it in. They maybe can, but I don't know which one is more disappointing out of those 3.
NC State,
since they made it to
Miami
the Final
is
Four.
too.
Miami is too. And Boston College is not usually like that. You know, that's just some weird standings. I had a question while I flip on something else here. I want to look at the rankings as well. I like to get the input, from the listeners as well on this. And I know you, Mike Powell, struggle with one-word answers, but this one is a simple one word. Will the Kansas City Chiefs be in the Super Bowl next season? Wow. Taking some thought. What do you think, Brett?
No.
The odds are stacked against them, at some time that's got to run. So the law of averages say no, but, then again.
I like 2 other teams better, Baltimore and
Buffalo.
No.
I told you Mike could not. Mike.
I say no. But
here we go now.
If they can solve some offensive line issues, they got the other pieces. Although Kelsey may retire, but
what's your thought on that? Yes or no? Retirement.
I could kind of see it in his eyes during the game.
Yeah, I think he's probably done too.
Yeah. He's not getting the separation that he did. He's great tight end, obviously, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Their weapons weren't good. And their line wasn't good. Their running game.
They didn't even
couldn't do anything.
They couldn't do anything. 23 yards in the first half.
Was it real all year that they really did struggle to win those games?
It looks like it.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
They were 3 points better than a lot of teams.
They were.
Yeah,
they were.
Right.
Yeah, and especially.
And they did lose Rashee Rice early in the season, and he was their best receiver. Yeah. And that hurt them. But the offensive line issues seem to be the big thing.
Same formula that Tampa Bay used a couple years ago, right? Put pressure on Mahomes, make him uncomfortable.
I'll say this: he didn't have much time to do anything.
And the Eagles,
on Sunday.
Their defense was just better than I think anybody gave them credit for all year.
Absolutely. What's the guy? What was the defensive guru's name? Fangio.
Yeah.
Vic Fangio. Yes. Got a couple things here coming in. Let's see. Lenny says, talking about Memphis State, John Wooden's replacement, Gene Bartow. Led Memphis to the championship game against UCLA in 1973.
That's right. That wasn't that the game where?
That's between you and Lenny, not me and Brett.
Okay, ask him to give me Bill Walton's field goal percentage in that game. I think he made like 21 to 22 shots, something like that.
Richard says no on the Chiefs for next year as well. So far we got a couple no's. Chiefs getting back to the Super Bowl for the.
Let's reverse that.
How many times in a row have they been?
Oh, I don't know. 5. Wow.
Well, what was the last Super Bowl that didn't have the Chiefs in it?
I know. I'm struggling.
Dolphins and Redskins?
Yeah.
Well, it was the Bengals and Bengals Rams.
Bengals
right?
Rams.
And Bengals beat the Chiefs in the
Did they?
AFC Championship. I think they did.
That's right. You're right, Joe.
Lenny says whenever Memphis, when John Wooden's Memphis, let's see, Gene Bartow led Memphis to the championship game against UCLA. So when UCLA beat them, Lenny says Walton was something like 22 of 23.
That's right. He scored 44 points or 46 or something like that.
That's almost Leitner-like.
Yeah. It was unbelievable.
Jason says no to KC getting back to the Super Bowl. Maybe I should have worded that different because we're getting a lot of no's.
Will they make the playoffs?
No, I was going to say,
Will the
will he
Eagles
ever
get
go to
back?
another one?
Well, they still
Will
have the coaching
Mahomes
staff.
ever go to another Super Bowl? I like his odds to
I
get
do
there
too.
sometime. You know,
Yeah.
they're not going to sit still. They're gonna add players. They're gonna add
yeah.
pieces that they need to make them better. You know, and let's face it too. Who in the NFL right now is dominant?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody.
No.
I mean, yes, Philadelphia won it, but they were beatable. I mean, we saw, weren't the last loss to your Commanders, Brett?
Yeah, I think so.
About 2 or 3 weeks before they played.
Yeah, but look what they did to the Commanders in the
yeah, but the
NFC
Commanders brought a lot of that on themselves.
Yeah.
They played a horrible game. I know Philadelphia contributed to that horrible game, but yeah, I think they can.
Well, the Washington's
back.
fumbles is what
Yeah.
turned that game into a blowout.
Jason says the question is, will KC make the AFC Championship game for the 8th? That's
Eighth
right,
straight
the
time.
8th consecutive
Wow.
season.
Bill Walton was 21 for 22 at 44 points.
21 for 22. So he didn't go the foul. Well,
He made 2 free throws.
Two free throws.
Had to make 2.
2 free
Yep,
throws.
had to make 2. Because there were no 3-pointers back then, and even if there were, he probably wasn't the one shooting them.
That's right.
I would not guess. Let's see. Let's check the AP top SEC poll. That's basically what it looks like here.
4 out of 5
with a few inserts in there. Auburn is at number 1, Alabama number 2. The first place votes is amazing. It's 34-23. So both of those guys getting a lot of respect. And you guys tell me they play today?
Yeah. I think it's at 4.
4, must-see TV.
Yeah.
Then number 3 is Duke. Number 4 is Florida. After I watched Florida play last week, I told Brett or somebody was texting me. I said, my pick right now to win it would be Florida.
They can
I
win
mean,
it.
they are just they're big guys, can really play and can play around on the perimeter. They can shoot the ball well. Tennessee, I still think Tennessee's going to make a run and be in there as well. They're ranked number 5 in the country.
They lost at Kentucky this week.
I think I watched some of that. Number 6 is Houston. 7's Purdue. 8 is Texas A&M. 9 is St. John's. Patino and the Johnnies. It's going to be hard not to pull for them.
I know.
When they play in the NCAA tournament. Iowa State at number 10.
I got a feeling Duke and St. John's are going to be in the same region.
Yeah. That would not surprise me at all. Just looking here, starting at 11, Michigan State.
Yes,
They had a bad loss this week, didn't they? Or had they lost? Am I right on that? They dropped a little bit. Weren't they a little higher than 11? Or the loss might have came after this ranking.
And I'd say even more likely St. John's and Kentucky be in the same region.
That'd be a good matchup, wouldn't it?
With Patino and
and Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas might not even be there
if they get there. Yep, if they get there, that'd be incredible. Starting at 11 is Michigan State, then Texas Tech, Arizona, Memphis, Kentucky, Wisconsin, and Kansas. Boy, Kansas has took a dive, haven't they?
Yeah.
16-7. Is it injury or anything, or just I don't understand.
I know.
I hadn't watched them enough to understand.
But if they get in the tournament, they'll be dangerous.
Yeah. No, they're always going to have some of the better athletes and better basketball players just because of their recruiting every single year. Marquette comes in at 18, Ole Miss, Michigan, Missouri, Mississippi State, Clemson, Creighton, and Maryland. How about Maryland?
I haven't heard anything about Maryland.
Yeah, Maryland's pretty good.
Maryland's sneaking in there at number. Who's the head coach at Maryland?
I don't know.
I don't know that.
Is Lefty gone yet?
A left-hander. I noticed in the coaches
Gary
poll,
Williams.
though, UConn's number 24. In the coaches
are they?
poll, yeah.
That's because Hurley had a vote.
What was it? Hurley got into
Willard.
Hurley got into some smack talk with some fans in the game this week. I'm trying to remember.
Kevin Willard is Maryland. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
And where
he was at Seton Hall for 12 years before.
12 years.
Seton Hall, Iona before that.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good resume.
He played at Western Kentucky and at Pitt.
Okay. Yeah, that name sounds very familiar to me. I should know that. Others receiving votes real quick. UCLA, UConn, Illinois, Louisville. Is that right? Louisville's that far down? God, they were second in ACC, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just getting votes, in the others getting votes category.
Look at Gonzaga, barely got a few votes.
New Mexico, Drake.
St. Mary's.
Now, is this Drake the college or the singer? Anyway, Drake gets some
Who
votes.
has an ongoing feud with Kendrick Lamar
Yeah,
for some reason.
He didn't get Kendrick's vote.
Yeah.
St. Mary's, Utah State, George Mason, Gonzaga. I think if I just looked at this for the first time all year, the biggest surprise to me in there would be Gonzaga.
It would be.
Would be Gonzaga because typically top 10 here over the last 10 years.
Very consistent.
And now just wonder why the downfall.
I don't know.
Just not getting the recruits that they once got.
I don't know what it is.
I've always liked St. Mary's, and I can't tell you why. I just always liked them.
I know nothing about them. I really don't.
Catholic
I know nothing
University
about them except
on the
they
West
get in the
Coast.
tournament on a regular basis.
Yeah, Catholic school in California.
Yeah.
I think near San Francisco, somewhere up in there.
I was going to say, keep going. You're going to have to sell me on more than and get your lyrics ready, by the way. I'll let you go second. So,
San Francisco Dons are out there, too.
Bill Russell?
Bill Russell.
Still playing with them?
Still playing with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Who would your Final Four be today?
Wow. It's tough.
I'm just going to go right down the road. It's pretty easy for me. Auburn, Alabama, Duke, and Florida. They're ranked number 1 through 4. I'll just go with
I
that.
think I'd put Houston in there.
I'd go with that and just feel, I feel like I'm going to get a couple of them, maybe 3, if I just go with the top 4.
Yeah, I think you would get a couple at least.
And I don't know if you can go wrong with going the next 4: Tennessee, Houston, Purdue, Texas
I can't
A&M.
leave UConn out until
I
see
they're
them
eliminated. I'm not counting out UConn.
It's hard to believe right now, isn't it?
I think I'd go Alabama, Auburn, Houston, and UConn.
Do you
Still going UConn?
You think UConn can flip that switch?
They're not even ranked right now.
I don't know why not.
But are they as talented as they've been over the last 2 years, though?
Apparently
that's
not.
the biggest question.
It must not be.
Because if they were, their record wouldn't be
16 to
what
7.
it is. Is that what it is? 7 losses?
Right. Yeah.
And didn't they lose all 3 in a tournament? Early in the season.
And was it Hawaii or Bahamas? Yeah, it doesn't really matter. But
I'm kind of like Brad though. Until
somewhere warmer,
until they get put out before the Final Four, it's hard to go against them.
Mm-hmm. It is that. All right, Mike, what you got?
Oh, all right.
Oh, like he's shocked over there.
First line is worry the bottle, Mama.
Say it again.
Worry the bottle, Mama.
We'll be back in just a moment.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
Make 2025 the year you move into your new home from Key Builders of Lincoln. Let Key Builders help you make your dream home a reality and do it this year. Visit them online at keybuildersnc.com and check out their photo galleries. They are a licensed general contractor with over 20 years of building history and experience. Make 2025 the year of your new home. See your dream come true at Key Builders, 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook too.
For where 2 or 3 have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. You are invited to gather with us at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church, located at 520 Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park. Sunday school meets at 10 and worship follows at 11 every Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for special service announcements. Join us Sunday at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westendsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
Welcome back. Glad to have you with us on Saturday morning Sports Talk. David, Mike, and Brett here with you. Lenny says we're talking about Mike Pratt replacing Lee Rose as coach at UNCC. The first college game I ever saw in person in the old Charlotte Coliseum, Lenny says. The Chrome Dome. Mike Pratt played shooting guard, and Dan Issel led Kentucky on a Dan Issel led Kentucky team. And yes, the Adolph the Baron Rupp was coaching Kentucky at the time. Rupp. How about that? My first taste of college basketball, and I was hooked.
Yeah,
Lenny says. Hooks, yes, that is exactly right. You got the group and the song.
Oh, I got to give him his props then.
This morning, Butch Parker as well.
Butch got him too?
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep, he sure did. Good one, Professor, is what Butch ends that one with.
I thought I would get some people on that one.
Richard, just like me, one of my favorite groups, he says, and he gets it as well. DF of that group was supposed to be going to perform in Charlotte one time not too long ago, but a sickness kept him from doing it.
That's right. You're right.
Don Felder.
Don Felder. Saw Don Felder on TV this week, but he passed away in the last year, didn't he? Within the last year, but I saw him on Axis this week on one of those old shows. It was, like doing 1970, the music of 1970.
1970.
And I don't know when that was filmed, but he looked pretty good. In that.
This says, I think he's still alive.
Am I writing him off?
Well, this is funny. It's not real funny, but it says from 9 hours ago, according to the New York Post, former Eagles guitarist Don Felder abruptly rushed off stage after suffering medical emergency. Oh. This was last night.
Wow,
really?
Or no, Thursday night.
Wow. I could have swore I had thought he had. I'm glad he's not, but
I know.
Thought he had passed
yeah.
away.
Back to the song. It's not the Eagles and not Don Felder.
Not.
I was just giving another DF.
Yes. It was Donald Fagen.
That's right.
And the group Steely Dan and the song FM. I guess that goes back to the days when they were just breaking into FM.
Breaking into FM,
You know,
when FM was the thing to listen to.
Yep. FM by Steely Dan.
That's one of my favorite groups.
I like the second verse. It says, give her some funked up music, she treats you nice. Feed her some hungry reggae, she'll love you twice. The girls don't seem to care as long as the mood is right. No static at all.
No static at all. I was sitting there thinking of my favorite Steely Dan song, and there's so many. You know, it would be really hard.
Arendelle. I love Arendelle.
But yeah, I don't know why, but I've always liked my old school.
That's what Mike's talking
that's what
about.
I'm talking about. Yeah, my old school.
Back up, Annandale. That's
Annandale,
why.
I'm sorry.
I think he had a dog in his.
Yeah.
He was thinking about an
Annandale. Yeah.
Annandale.
And I think it's actually based on some college incident one of the members of the group had or something.
Now, that's where they met each other, too.
That's where they met each other.
What was the name of the school?
Was it an Ivy League school?
No.
No?
Don't give them that much credit.
Well, it was a high school. It
was
actually a high school, wasn't it?
Seemed like it was. It's not Bard, was it? It was.
It might be at Bard College.
Bard College.
It might be.
There was a Bard
If
College.
you look it up, it might be Bard. Yeah. Is that in New York, upstate New York? Because it was upstate New York.
Probably.
Believe it or not, it was in Annandale. Not Airedale, but
Annandale. I was thinking about a dog.
Yeah.
Airedale.
We got what was called the third draft of the NCHSAA
Bard College
realignment.
Tells the story of a
this week
1969 drug bust at Bard College in Dutchess County, New York.
There you go.
Bard College.
What was the train line or the bus line or whatever it was? Do you remember in that song he mentioned? You don't?
I don't remember.
Do you, Brett? I know.
The Wolverine.
The Wolverine.
Yeah.
Put me on the Wolverine up to Annandale.
Yeah. I don't know if that was a train or bus or what, but
so
maybe it was an animal.
Yeah. Steely Dan, their lyrics are so interesting. I mean, it's not your typical rock and roll lyrics.
And they're perfectionists with the music as well.
Yeah.
They were.
Don Felder was performing on a Rock Legends cruise. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Why did I hear about 6 months ago he died, or less than a year anyway? I don't like that. Don't like thinking that somebody's gone that's not. That's for sure. See, Lenny says you weren't thinking of J.D. Souther, who died back in September.
That's right, he did.
Yeah, and that's
Souther.
Played with the Eagles as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And,
a Southern
maybe
rock and roll guy.
I don't know. A Souther rock and roll guy?
Yeah.
He never played anything but Souther.
There you go.
Rock.
All Souther.
If you want to know where your team is or where it may be landing in the high school ranks, I shared this with several people whenever everybody's been asking, the first question out of everybody's mouth when you get a draft, are these final? No. The draft 1 we found out was definitely not final. Draft 2 we found out was definitely not final.
Nope.
Draft 3 in my mind will be about 98%.
Yeah.
I think there'll be little tweaks. I don't know if they're going to make Thomas Jefferson travel to Stanley County to play conference games. That just seems 2.5 hours or whatever to go play conference games. I don't know if that one's going to last. I don't know if maybe somebody just got mixed up with where one of these schools were or something. But Scott Cloninger let me know last night. He sent me a couple messages. Says he gave me the mileage and stuff. He had pulled it up for Thomas Jefferson and their travel. If it actually happens, you can see the MapQuest here. It says 2 hours and 5 minutes, 111 miles. So I don't like that for conference action. I don't like it for a whole lot of things, but I definitely don't like it for conference action when you're going to be going back and forth those schools, probably a total of 20-some trips, back and forth.
Well, here's a quote. I'm not going to mention who it is. He's a very well-known veteran sports writer. His response to the third realignment: looks like Shelby got what they wanted, like they always do. They'll dominate football and be a factor in basketball again.
Well, the guy you're referring to is should I say?
Go ahead. He don't care.
Hater. I'm not going to give a name. I'm not going to give a name.
He is a Shelby hater. I got it. Because he's got crest ties. So definitely a Shelby hater.
You didn't, when you read that to me, I knew.
You knew.
I knew who that was.
You knew who it
from,
was.
But only time will tell. I mean, I think it's really, Mike, I think the Lincoln County schools that are in that, West Lincoln and Lincoln, are good with it.
Absolutely.
And
close.
But the ones that really maybe shouldn't be is the one you're closest to home to, and that's Cherryville and Bessemer
and Highland Tech.
Highland Tech.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, Bessemer City can't really complain because they're in the same class.
That's right. They're
Lincoln, West Lincoln,
They're
Shelby.
They have pretty much no choice there.
Yeah.
Only two schools have a big complaint with this, I think, and that would be Highland Tech and Cherryville.
Yeah.
What would be another option?
Well, the first draft had Cherryville and Highland Tech in with a couple charters, right? Piedmont Community.
Would you rather do that? It looks like they wound up going charters with all in one.
They did.
Lincoln Charters.
I would rather.
Lincoln Charter wanted it.
I would rather have to be in with Shelby
conference
than be in with the charter schools.
Yeah.
If it's charter schools around the Charlotte area, that's not somewhere I'd want to have to travel every week.
No, you're right.
I'd rather go to Shelby.
Yeah.
The thing I think about with Shelby is the main thing they're going to be the favorite in is football.
Yeah.
Not the rest of the sports.
No, that's right.
Not the rest of the sports.
They're not the powerhouse they once were in tennis.
They were at one time. They were at one time. I mean, they're going to be good in basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Boys and girls.
Good.
But they're not, usually not unbeatable or anything like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're in basketball, that's a little bit different story, you're right.
And I saw Shelby play football one time this year. They lost.
Yeah.
The only time I saw them play. I mean, the one time I saw them play, it was another 2A team that defeated them. That was a playoff game. Obviously, it was Monroe who won the state. I mean, I think it's okay. I think it'll be okay. And I know it's going to be tough on Cherryville. I know it's going to be especially for football.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it will be.
And a couple of the others. In there as well, Highland, and who else did you say that?
Those are really the two that jump out in Bessemer.
Yeah, and Bessemer's one of those you just never know. I mean,
I'll say this about Bessemer:
how good they can be.
Somehow or another, they do have a steady stream of athletes.
Mm-hmm.
I saw them play basketball recently against Cherryville. They got athletes in that school, and
they might be better than Shelby right now in basketball.
Yeah.
I don't know how they've played against them this year, but.
I think Shelby got off to a slow start, but they have rebounded and playing pretty well.
And last night they destroyed Burns.
Did they? Shelby did?
Yep. To create they split with each other, so I don't know. How would you decide who gets the top seed? Shelby and Burns finished in a tie for first.
Well, pretty much. If all else is equal, they'll probably just flip a coin. And then they'll flip a coin for conference tournament. Most conferences do this. They'll flip a coin for conference tournament, and then whoever goes the furthest in the tournament
gets the number
will earn
one
the
seed.
one seed. Yeah. So,
they just beat each other, and that's the only team.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, both 11-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I was surprised that Shelby dominated them. I think it beat them about 15, didn't they, Brett? It was something like that.
18.
18.
And we'll let Brett do the scores here in just a minute of Western North Carolina. Some of our local scores in a minute on high school boys and girls basketball from last night, which wound up the regular season. But if you're wondering, we're sitting here talking about the conferences and hadn't really told you yet. One of the 2A conferences, 2A, 3A, 4A combination conferences has Cherryville, Highland Tech, Bessemer City. Cherryville and Highland are your 2As. Your 3As are Bessemer City, Lincoln, Shelby, and West Lincoln, and your 4As are Burns, East Gaston, and Stuart Kramer. So if there's a 10-game schedule with 9 teams, you would have
two
non-conference games.
So West Lincoln's going to probably play Ford, and who else?
Well, the good thing for them is they don't have to worry about scheduling Cherryville for non-conference.
Non-conference, that's right.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll go. They should
probably North Lincoln.
North Lincoln again. That's been a good series.
Yeah. It has. Yeah, those games have really. If you go back and look over the last 6-8 years, those things I think all one possession.
Hey, well,
games.
Basil. And I remember when I did the story on him. They were 3-3 against West until this last season. It broke the tie.
Yep, it was. And I just about bet all those were, or at least
final minutes.
Yeah,
quarter.
right. Decided late in the game. So Cherryville, Highland Tech, Bessemer City, Lincoln, Shelby, West Lincoln, Burns, East Gaston, and Stuart Kramer. Do I think that is final? I think that's going to be pretty close. I don't think we're getting now to where schedules need to start coming out for the fall. So I don't think there's going to be too much more.
Debbie, what do you think of that 3A, 4A
change.
Conference D, which has
a
combination of Caldwell County, Rutherford County, and Burke County, I think.
I did see that one. Let me see if I can find it again.
3A,
Chase,
4A,
Drone, East Rutherford, Patton, West Caldwell, East Burke, High Brighton, RS Central. Mike, the travel's not bad. And the classifications, there's only 2.
Yeah, there's only 2.
I mean, what could you argue about that?
You can't argue that one.
I mean, I don't see anything really wrong with that. And there's not really, honestly, a dominant football school there.
Right.
I could see.
We know that High Brighton once was.
That's what I was going to say. Just look at those names in that football conference. The ones I would pick to win would be High Brighton and or East Rutherford.
High Brighton has the most history out of all those.
Yeah. But East
Rutherford was good this year.
They were good this
Chase
year.
Chase was good a few years ago.
East Rutherford knocked off Reidsville, which goes a long way on your resume.
It really does.
I'm sure people still giving them pats on the back.
West Caldwell might have as much history as High Brighton does. I don't know. But
but you have to go further back.
Yeah, you do.
You have to go further back.
Back to the mid-'80s.
Yep. So I think, there's several teams on here that I wouldn't be shocked if they won that conference in football the first year.
Right.
I wouldn't rule out RS Central.
Nope.
Chase, I don't know. They've been down a little bit, hadn't they, over the last couple of years? But East Rutherford, like I said, if I had to pick your football winner there, it'd probably come from either East Rutherford or
High Brighton.
But East Burke wasn't real bad either. East Burke was, they were okay.
I tell you, the conference I really like, the 4A, 5A Conference C, it pits Hickory, East Lincoln, and North against.
Yeah, didn't change at all.
Catawba County schools.
Did not change at all. It starts out 4A with Bandy's, Bunker Hill, Fred T. Ford, Maiden, Newton Conover, and West Iredale, all 4As. Then the 5As would be East Lincoln, Hickory, and North Lincoln. You know what the best thing is about that one is? You're not going to have to travel more than 30 minutes.
Oh, that's great.
Anywhere you go. I mean, it's about a 30-minute ride, I guess, from maybe
what's the furthest?
East Lincoln to Bunker Hill. Or I don't even know if that would be the West Iredale.
West Iredale to Ford.
West Iredale might be.
West Iredale to Ford probably would be.
But still not bad.
No.
Still
not
not
bad.
Get on
40. Not far.
I think that West Iredale may have tried to play in a different league. I'm not singling them out by no means. There were almost 70
170
groups. There were almost 70 groups that went to Chapel Hill in the last 2 weeks to what's the word I'm looking for? Not protest. I wouldn't call it a protest, but just
petition.
Yeah, petition to change it or whatever. And some of them got changed.
Well, let me ask you
I think those are over with.
Is there still another chance to petition? Or is that it? After the third draft.
Let me tell you, if I'm Thomas Jefferson and that's really the conference they're in, I'm sitting on their steps when they get there Monday morning.
Well, I see their conference right here, but I don't know where all these schools are.
Okay.
Thomas Jefferson, Bonnie Cone.
Well, that's in Huntersville.
Carolina International. I think that might be in Concord area.
That's in North Carolina.
Maybe. Jackson Day.
No.
Jackson Day's in Huntersville.
I thought he played golf.
North Carolina School of Science and Math is in Morganton.
Yeah.
Mountain Island Charter, Queens Grant, Sugar Creek, and Piedmont Community. That is the conference.
Well,
that
Piedmont
Thomas
Community's
Jefferson's in.
Gastonia.
So is one of those in Stanley County? Because I don't know where Sugar Creek.
Yeah, if Scott's
is,
listening, maybe he can tell me which team it is.
Queens Grant is in the
own.
Charlotte area, but I don't know where.
Who is it that they would have to play? That's what I want to. Who is it?
Or
they
Jackson
would play?
Day. I don't know where that one is.
I don't know that one.
Well,
either.
who would Thomas? I mean, some of those schools don't even have football.
Jackson Day School's Little Rock Road in Charlotte.
Okay.
Richard says solutions to take a few select teams like Cherryville, Holland Tech, and others around the state and do separate football schedules. No conference for football, just rankings. Keep
like
everything.
That.
Yeah, but I think that may be down the road, but it's probably not going to happen this time.
Right. That's a good idea, Richard.
Yeah, football just rankings.
Yep.
Keep everything else the same for the rest of sports play.
Okay.
Sports and play conference for all other sports. Easy solution, he says. Evidently, it's not an easy solution for this.
But that does make sense.
For this, yeah.
Because you get Holland Tech and Cherryville, who they're outmanned.
Well, at one point, there was a lot of talk about create your own conferences or don't even have conferences and just play who you want. Make your 10-game schedule.
Games.
And just keep it. I don't know how hard that would be to do, but that is a thought, just to make your own schedule. And everything's going to be RPI.
Anyway.
So if you take the softest schedule in the world and you go 10-0, you might not be a higher seed.
That's right.
But don't go by records. Just go by RPI. Total. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of ADs would like to see that. I'd like to see them just do something like that where you know.
I just don't like to see kids get hurt.
You can pick your money makers.
In a sport like football
where I know it. I don't
you're
either.
hopelessly outmanned. That's the only thing. That's the only sport I have a problem with in this conference because I think Cherryville and Holland Tech, they can compete in some of the other sports.
You had a couple of days. You didn't take the time to call and say, "Are you guys going to go?"
I'm going to. I'm gonna,
I'd like to know their answer.
Yeah,
are they planning to go?
I'm going to contact somebody.
Maybe they're planning to go as a how many teams were 2A? Cherryville
and Holland Tech.
Just two. Yeah, I might get together and go do that.
They might join arms on that one.
Yeah, I was trying to see. There was another conference or two I wanted to go. I'll tell you what, you look at some of these conferences in Charlotte and you think you got it bad. Oh, my gosh. Let's see. Here's one of the Rowan conferences: Salisbury, South Rowan, Concord, East Rowan, J.M. Robinson, Jesse Carson, Northwest Cabarrus, and West Rowan. Really good football teams in that conference: Salisbury, J.M. Robinson, Northwest Cabarrus. Not so much Concord anymore. I think Concord had a little bit better season last year, didn't they, Brett? Than they've been having, but still kind of.
I don't know.
Definitely not what they were back in the EZ days.
Yeah.
And it's because of other schools being built, coming in and taking some of the kids away. Here's a mountain conference. See how you like this one. 4As are Brevard, East Henderson, Pisgah, Tuscola. Then your 5As are Franklin, North Henderson, Smoky Mountain, and West Henderson.
I like that one.
Yeah, I think they're okay with whatever they get there. Before this conference was it 11?
Yeah.
They had 11. They weren't even going to have any non-conference games, man. It didn't matter because they were all playing their rivals. So they were okay with it.
Well, here's one I kind of like, too, a 2A, 3A mountain. Avery, Mitchell, Hendersonville, Madison, Mountain Heritage, Owen, in Polk County. Not too bad. Only 7 schools, but
if you're Cherryville and Highland, would you rather play in that and deal with the travel?
I know, that's true.
I mean, it's almost like you can't have it all. You can,
No.
you can travel short and play these teams, or you can play. I hate to say weaker, but it does seem less challenging.
It does.
Schedule, but you're going to have to travel. I don't know what would be the farthest trip out of that for
Mitchell, maybe.
Yeah.
Mountain Heritage. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
they
both of those are pretty far.
They are.
Both of those.
The
I know they've played Avery in the past in non-conference.
They have. Yeah. Hendersonville would be what, 80, 90 miles away. Oh, yeah, it'd be tough, particularly during the winter sports season, right?
Boy, this one right here used to be a big-time football conference. I don't know how it'll be now. Burlington Cummings, Graham, Eastern Alamance, Person High, Southeast Alamance, Western Alamance, Southern Alamance, and Burlington Williams. That's a 5A, 4A, 5A, 6A in there. My guess is Western Alamance. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. Probably the team to beat right there in football. As for now, anyway.
Oh, yeah.
For now, I mean, Cummings, several state championships back in the day. The program went down, but seems to be on the upswing now. Once again.
Here's one for you, David. 13-team conference, 1A, 2A, Mountain, Cherokee, Hazel, Murphy, and 13 schools.
Well, I'm going to guess they don't all play football.
Okay.
Say them all.
Cherokee, Hazel, Murphy, Swain County, Andrews, Blue Ridge Early College.
Don't believe that one plays football.
No. Highlands, Hiwassee Dam,
yeah.
Nantahala, Robbinsville, Rosman, Summit Charter, and Tri-County Early College. So you probably have 3 or 4 there that don't play football.
As long as you didn't say Tri-County Bar and Grill.
Yeah, where they have a great cheeseburger, I'm told.
I think maybe you name 3 there that don't have football.
Yeah, probably
one
so.
being the Tri-County, one being
Blue Ridge Early.
Blue Ridge Early, and there was another one as well.
I don't think Nantahala does.
How about Summit Charter?
Nantahala may not. Summit Charter probably
1A.
don't either. Probably don't either.
So there's 3 right
and,
there.
A lot of people don't want to hear it, but I think a lot of it's based on the football schedule.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
Right.
I mean, and they know they can put more teams in that conference if they don't have football.
Does Nantahala have a football team? I don't know about that.
That's the one you just said, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they do. Aren't they like under 100 students?
Yeah. It's
so that's 4 right there we can pretty much rule out as playing football. So that knocks you down to what? 9 teams that may play football. Okay, that's livable.
All right, Mike's lyrics were Steely Dan FM. I've got one that's not going to be quite as easy, I don't think. I'm not saying yours was easy. I think yours was just perfect, right on the line.
Yeah.
And Brett's was too. We got Brett's, but because the reason I got Brett's is because it's a weird first line lyric where he says, "Live on an apartment, own instead of in."
Up on the roof of the apartment.
Here you go. Here's mine. Well, I went home with the waitress the way I always do. We'll be back in a minute.
The Get Out and Ride sales event is underway at Full Throttle Power Sports in Lowell. Get up to $3,000 off select models of Yamaha side-by-sides. But that's not all. See the Suzuki King Quad with 0% financing for up to 36 months or $2,000 in customer cash back. And see the legendary Kawasaki Ninja bikes. And see the new Ninja Razor Pro lineup. All at Full Throttle Power Sports, 100 Indian Walk in Lowell. Online at ncfullthrottle.com.
Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln has been serving the Piedmont of North and South Carolina since 1919. Sure, they deliver to your home with home heating oils. They'll help keep you warm, but they do a whole lot more. They feature bulk fuel delivery, on-site and commercial fueling, backup generator fueling, and farm and agricultural fueling. For home or business or farms, call on Rhodes and Bill Oil Company in Lincoln, 704-735-2508. Online at rhodesandbill.com, located at 1404 East Main Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook, too.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westendSales.com and like them on Facebook too.
This is Creighton Kell with Kell Insurance. We have been helping people for over 25 years with all their Medicare needs. We represent the same national and local companies as the insurance agencies you see on TV. And you know what? We can sit down with you one-on-one and help you find the right plan just for you.
Kell Insurance is located beside the Cultural Center and behind Gillum Realty in downtown Lincoln. 107 North Cedar Street. Call 704-732-4646 and follow them on Facebook. Kell Insurance.
Look who just flew into town. Wild Birds Unlimited has expanded their nature shop, the latest in beautiful Denver, North Carolina. You'll want to take the short drive from Lincolnton for all your seeds and feeders, hobby guides, gift cards, and more. Philip and Renee look forward to seeing you soon, and tell them that WLON sent you. Wild Birds Unlimited, now serving Lincoln and Catawba counties. Wild Birds Unlimited.
At Scooters Coffee, we like to think of ourselves as daymakers. A quick stop at Scooters can mean a fresh start to the morning, a midday break, or an afternoon reward to a long, busy day. Scooters Coffee has hot drinks, cold drinks, protein shakes, smoothies, and don't forget their great selection of food items. And Scooters reminds you to have an amazing day with a sticker on every item. Stop by 689 North Highway 16, Denver today. Scooters Coffee, serving smiles every day.
Know that one.
You do?
Not that I should, but I don't.
Yeah, we got two answers on my lyrics, and I'm going to give you those lyrics here again. The first two answers I got, we got three actually. The first two said, not a clue. Well, I went home with the waitress the way I always do. How was I to know? She was with the Russians too. I'm going to go ahead since Mike and Brett are been unable. Here's the next part. I was gambling in Havana. I took a little risk. If I give you the next line, it's the title, so I can't do it.
Okay.
Yep. That's Send blank, blank, and blank. And that's the name of the song.
Yeah.
And it's three nouns. Does that help you any?
Boy, it should help me.
Three nouns.
Three nouns.
Yep. If you've got a lot of two of them, you're probably going to need the third one. So far, Butch Parker is the only one to get my lyrics. Gets the artist and gives me the title and says loved it. I'm going to give you guys a hint. This guy is better known for a song that is played a lot at Halloween. It is played a lot at Halloween. So that's a really good hint.
That is a good hint.
Yeah. His top song in his day played a lot at Halloween.
Oh, Halloween.
I like it. What you got for basketball scores, Brad, or you want to think about those lyrics?
No, I'll give the scores.
Just moved into my house today. On it out? No, that's not it.
Ned says his hair was perfect. Now Ned told me a minute ago he didn't know who it was. Now he says his hair was perfect.
Hair was perfect.
Maybe he's talking about you, Mike.
That's right. Still got a full head of hair.
I know on Thursday night Lincoln beat West Lincoln, boys and girls. I don't have the scores, but they played on Thursday.
Because a lot of people ask me, and Cherryville did the same thing. Cherryville played their game Thursday night because both those schools, West Lincoln and Cherryville, were hosting wrestling regionals.
That's right. Yesterday and today, right?
I lost half my ears right there. I don't know what happened. There's a loose plug somewhere.
I did hear a little rumor about
Rodney Willis gets it.
Rodney Willis?
Yep, he comes up with the right artist and title.
Why can't I get it?
What was the rumor you heard yesterday?
A little drama prior to the varsity games up at West Lincoln, between West and Lincoln, involving someone we know very well.
Okay, we'll move on from that. Go ahead, Brett.
Last night in girls, RS Central beat Chase 52-26. Bandy's beat Bunker Hill 69-24. Hickory beat Statesville 49-32. North Lincoln beat East Lincoln 61-46. Freedom beat Alexander Central 56-54. East Burke beat West Caldwell 91-11. Newton Conover beat Maiden 58-52. Fred T. Ford beat St. Stephen's 45-30. North Iredell beat West Iredell 37-21. And South Caldwell beat High Brighton 62-61.
So that's your girls' scores?
Yeah.
Now, before you go on to boys, I want to mention something real quick to Rodney. Rodney, you have got the other song that I said plays a lot at Halloween by this artist, but you don't have the one that we're trying to.
Wait a minute.
We're trying to get. You've got the one that they play at Halloween.
Oh, I now know the artist.
And now let's see.
I now know the artist.
Ned says learn trivia after looking it up. The lyric I sent was the only song I know by him. Yes, that is the one that about everybody knows.
I now know the artist.
Well, let's let Brett do the scores, and then we'll come back to it.
In boys, RS Central beat Chase 70-43. Bandy's beat Bunker Hill 75-53. Hickory beat Statesville 65-47. North Lincoln beat East Lincoln 68-66. Freedom beat Alexander Central 62-54. Watauga beat Ashe County 70-43. East Burke beat West Caldwell 60-56. Maiden beat Newton Conover 73-63. And West Iredell beat North Iredell 74-63. And South Caldwell beat High Brighton 69-43. And this is just something I get from a Facebook page. It doesn't include, this is more toward Morganton, so it doesn't include Gaston County or
right.
Even Shelby and Burns aren't on there. So yeah, I don't know who won the Hunter Huss Ashbrook rivalry game last night, but that was a big one.
Who's winning that league?
I think Crest was going to win the boys conference. Well, I don't know. Maybe Ashbrook.
Hunter Huss is really good too. That conference is really top heavy.
It looks like Ashbrook won it. 13-1.
How about that? That
Crest,
means they beat Huss last night then? Probably. They beat Huss last night, or is that their one loss?
They did in overtime.
95-89.
You talk about a packed gym.
I would guess.
The victory bell.
And that one was at Huss. They beat them by 13 the first time. So Ashbrook's one loss in conference was to Crest. They split with Crest.
Hey, I just got both ears back on.
And yeah, Crest lost another game at some point, so Ashbrook won the conference. Crest beat Kings Mountain last night.
Yeah, Kings Mountain struggled all year.
Crest other loss was to Kings Mountain.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that cost them a share of the conference because they split with Ashbrook.
All right, here we go back to those lyrics one more time. While I went home with the waitress like I always do. How was I to know she was with the Russians too? I was gambling in Havana. I took a little risk. Sinned. What is it, Mike?
I know the artist, but I can't think.
Okay. Tell me the artist. Do you know
Warren Zevon.
Warren Zevon? So what are the three nouns? Oh, this is great. Lawyers.
Guns and money.
There you go.
Lawyers, guns, and money.
Lawyers, guns, and money. I think that's his only other hit.
Of course.
And it wasn't near as big as
Werewolves of
London.
That's
exactly right. But, we got Butch, and Ned said he looked it up, and Rodney got the secondary song there.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
Correct. But, but it's one you know. It's not. I would have never. I don't think I would have got it off the first two lines. Went home with the waitress like I always do. That could, like you said, that could be George Thorogood. That could be from a lot of, different most likely male rock singers, but could be from a lot of them, that's for sure. Let's see. I was going to go back to the biggest news in the NFL this week was any. And obviously the Super Bowl, because it's been in this past week, but we've talked about it a little bit.
I guess Kellen Moore going to the Saints.
New Orleans.
Well, how about the Jets jettisoning themselves from Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah. Well, what's the use?
Yeah.
I mean, why hang when you're rebuilding?
Yeah.
And you might as well start from scratch.
Right.
Name me the Jets quarterback on opening day.
No idea. I mean. What really set them back?
I don't think they do either.
Don't you think it was Zach Wilson, their number one pick, first round, and he just didn't work out?
Yeah, but you know what the weird thing was, the 2 years Rodgers was there, which he didn't really do anything that first year because he got hurt on the first drive of the first game.
Yep.
But they said Wilson had a better record in his 2 years than Rodgers had. The team had a better record under Wilson.
Yeah.
So, for whatever that's worth. But
if anybody cares, though, where do you think he might end up? Vegas with.
Well, everybody seems to think he's going to take the same path that Brett Favre did. He went from Green Bay to the New York Jets to the
Vikings,
Minnesota Vikings,
and
might be there for a year as a
So they're not going to buy on.
Well, they drafted a quarterback in the first round,
J.J. McCarthy,
and they're set on him at some point.
He hasn't even played. I mean, he's coming off a knee surgery, right?
Sam Darnold will be the opening day quarterback for.
Boy,
I don't know.
I don't either.
New Orleans. They need one.
Maybe it's the Jets.
Yeah.
Maybe it is New Orleans. I can't think of other places that.
Who has the toughest new job?
As far as a coach?
Yeah. I think I know who that. New Orleans. Wow.
Why is that?
It's all about cap space, right? And the money they spent on Derek Carr, I think, maybe. Not sure.
I mean, what's the coach's name that's out in Denver now? Sean Payton.
Payton, yeah.
He had tremendous seasons with New Orleans. I'm just trying to say what is the what are the reasons? Here's where Sam Darnold will be. Here's a good place he could fit and go right away. Vegas.
Yeah. That's possible.
Got a new coach, Pete Carroll. Got a new offensive coordinator in what's his name? Leaving Ohio State.
Yeah, Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly.
And that's made for someone who's been in the league.
So he could go there and be the quarterback. So could Aaron Rodgers. He might go to Vegas and which one you want, Rodney? You want Aaron Rodgers? You want Sam Darnold to get you through till you draft a quarterback?
Well, Darnold had a great year. He was horrible in the playoffs.
Yep.
But
he did have a really good regular season, though. And I wonder, will Vegas draft Deion's son, Shador?
Yeah.
Is that a possibility? Don't know who's ahead of him. Can't think of who's ahead of him right now.
Tennessee has the top. Who has the top pick?
Yeah, the Patriots.
But
they're not going quarterback.
No.
I think they're set for quarterback for a while. So
I think so.
They're not first, are they?
No.
Are they not first?
I thought it was Tennessee. I could be
Maybe
wrong.
it is. Maybe it is. For some reason, I thought the Patriots had the number one overall.
Tennessee, Cleveland, Giants, and them Patriots. But the top three, I would say, all need a quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Not sold on Levis?
Yeah, I'm sold on him. I'd never start him again.
Rodney says neither Rodgers or Darnold. So, don't want either one. So you'd rather but who's going to be there for them to draft? Where are the Raiders? 4th, 5th, 6th?
Well, are there any really
Might be skimpy.
Are there any solid number one picks at quarterback other than Cam Ward and Sanders?
The hardest job in all of sports is to play quarterback in the NFL.
Yep.
It's got to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the second hardest job is in all of sports? Being a GM and trying to find one.
Yeah.
Evaluating quarterback.
Just to think.
Look how often that goes wrong.
Who else is out there in quarterbacks? Well, Dylan Gabriel of Oregon, but he's small. I don't know. He wouldn't be a first
Quinn
round
Ewers,
pick.
is he?
Quinn Ewers, yeah.
Going to be drafted?
He might not last that long, Rodney. Rodney says he'd take the kid from Ohio State in the 4th round. I wonder if he was. Yeah,
Will Howard. Yeah.
I wonder if he was really a good quarterback or if he was just surrounded by so much talent. I think it's some of both. You know,
he came from Kansas State, right?
But I sure have not heard him mentioned like as a first round pick
either. He's big,
and I don't know who the projection
says. Howard is widely expected to be a mid-round pick.
Okay.
Right. Go through the draft order for me again, Brett.
But that doesn't mean he can't be really good in the NFL.
No.
You said 3rd round?
It says mid-round.
Mid-round.
Yeah.
Mid-round, okay.
Tennessee's
first. The Tennessee Titans went what last year? I'm looking.
3-14.
3-14.
Cleveland 3-14.
Oh man.
New York Giants 3-14.
And all 3 of those probably do need a quarterback.
And we know the Giants do.
And the class is nothing like it was a year ago, right?
Nope.
But though.
How about the guy?
Are they going to draft, or will some of these guys we're talking about, like Darnold and Rodgers, be a field gap? You know what I mean?
That's right.
Darnold's got is probably, I don't know how many years younger than Rodgers, so he could probably help you. Yeah, he could probably help you longer.
How about the guy out of Ole Miss, Jackson
Dart?
Yeah,
hadn't heard much about him. I mean, I don't think he's going to go in the top 5.
No.
Did you say Dart?
Yeah.
Throws darts.
He did against Duke in the bowl game for sure.
I mean, isn't Travis Hunter? Somebody's going to take him real early, right? And not take a quarterback.
Yeah.
Maybe Tennessee.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Now, Rodney says we need more help than just a quarterback. Take the best player available. Now.
That's probably
take the
Travis
best player
Hunter.
available. But who is going to be the Raiders quarterback on opening day? You got to have to do something to.
Who they have now? I don't even know.
It says
who ended the season?
The Raiders' biggest needs are quarterback, receiver, running back, and then corner and defensive tackle. So
well, Travis Hunter would answer 2 bells.
Didn't have much offense.
Yeah, I heard he was working out as a defensive guy. When's the combine? Is that coming up this week?
Might be. I don't know how soon it is.
Yeah. I think it said he's working out more on the defensive side. I read that
How
somewhere.
about Riley Leonard? Any projections as a no?
No.
8th round.
I mean, I don't have
He
I don't
goes
have
7.
any projections here, so I can't tell you what without just Googling each player that you say. But he's not going to be a starter in the NFL.
No.
Well, you say that, but
now he might get a chance to start at some point, but
he might have to.
He'll probably get drafted, maybe late rounds.
It just last year's class, honestly, it stood out.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how much of these is somebody will shine. I mean, there'll be 1 or 2.
There's also Jalen Milroe from Alabama.
That's right. He's going out.
Yeah, a lot of people think he could be the guy.
He's big. He's got wheels. Big arm.
Here's an article from Pittsburgh saying they'd like to see Jackson Dart with the Steelers.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't be their starter for next year. He'd be.
Will both the quarterbacks that are in Pittsburgh right now still be there?
I wouldn't think so.
No way.
Bucky Brooks says number 1 is Shadur Sanders. Number 2 is Cam Ward. Number 3 is Jackson Dart.
Okay.
Your number 4, Jalen Milroe. Number 5, Kyle McCord out of Syracuse.
Yeah, he was at Ohio State and left for Syracuse, and he had a really good year.
Good things at Syracuse.
Yeah.
Rodney says at 6th pick, we should probably take the cornerback Johnston or defensive tackle Graham. Defensive tackle Graham out of Michigan. Yeah, he's really good. Both of them are ranked number 1 in their respective positions.
Both Michigan players.
Are they really?
I think so. If he's talking about Will Johnson out of Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he is the top projected corner, Will Johnson.
Top running backs. Ashton Genty.
Yep.
That's Boise State, right? Ashton Genty out of Boise State. Marion Hampton out of North Carolina. He went to which high school was it, Brett? We saw that. It's one of the new high schools, kind of in the central part of the state. Nah.
I thought he was this says he was born in Forest City.
Oh, really?
Moved to Cleveland High School.
Cleveland,
yeah.
Cleveland High.
In Clayton.
Cleveland and Clayton. We got
he moved from Forest City to Clayton when he was in middle school.
Yep. Caleb Johnson is the 3rd-ranked running back out of Iowa. The 4th-ranked running back is Travion Henderson from Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And the 5th one is Quinshawn Jukins from Ohio State. How about that?
Yeah, and I like him better
You like
than
him better?
Henderson. He's just more powerful.
Yep. Your wide receiver rankings are, I don't even know this one, out of Arizona.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about him, but
Okay.
I've never seen him play.
Tataroa or something like that. McMillan. McMillan's the last name out of Arizona. The 2nd ranked is Luther Burden out of Missouri. Emeka
Egbuka.
Yeah, Egbuka out of Ohio State. Ohio State receivers, you can't go wrong.
No.
They've been the stuff.
But the best player in the country, maybe a guy that not old enough to be drafted yet. Was it Is it Jeremiah Smith?
Yeah,
freshman wideout of Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be the top receiver in 2 years.
Oh yeah,
when he does come out.
Keep going. I'm answering a important question here.
But yeah, I've heard a lot about the Arizona receiver. I didn't see Arizona play at all this year. So, and I know he's big.
Yeah.
Isaiah Bond out of Texas.
Yeah, I do remember seeing him.
Yep. And then I don't know if he goes any further than he's got tight ends here. Bucky Brooks, number 1 tight end, is Tyler Warren out of Penn State. Now I remember him; he was a beast.
Yeah.
Colston Loveland, Michigan. Harold Fannin Jr. out of Bowling Green. Gunnar Helm from Texas, and Elijah Arroyo from Miami. So there's your.
Texas always have the players with the good Texas names.
Yeah.
Gunnar Helm just sounds like he'd be from Texas. Like Colt McCoy.
There's no better than that one, though.
Colt McCoy is the best Texas football name ever.
Yeah, it has to be. It's just one of the best sports names ever. Your top offensive lineman, Will Campbell out of LSU, Kelvin Banks out of Texas. A lot of Texas players in here, too. Josh Simmons out of Ohio State, Armand Membo out of Missouri, and Josh Connerly Jr. out of Oregon. That's the first Oregon player we've seen in the top 5. And then it breaks it down to interior offensive linemen. You got one from Alabama, Ohio State, North Dakota State, Georgia, and Oregon. That's the first Georgia player, too, which is odd.
I was going to say, they always have.
Yep. Well, they're usually in this category right here that's about to pull up, and that's defensive tackles.
Yeah.
But I've got a Michigan, a Mississippi, a Michigan. How was Michigan not better?
Yeah.
This year. I mean, my goodness.
A lot of pros there.
I'm serious.
The all defense.
TJ Sanders,
didn't have any offense.
It was. Yeah,
right.
and that defense did keep them in most of their games. I will say
including
that.
the Ohio State upset.
Butch is listening. Number 1 defensive end is Nick Scouton of Texas A&M, followed by Jack Sawyer. And if I've ever loved an Ohio State player, he's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plays with a lot of heart. Landon Jackson, boy, this name here out of Mississippi, Princely Eminem. Sounds like it's Eminem. Have you seen it, Brett?
No.
Okay. And then Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M is another one of those. Linebackers, probably about the last one. Well, let's see. We got a couple minutes. Abdul Carter, Penn State. James Pierce, Tennessee. Mikael Williams, Georgia. Mike Green out of Marshall. And Donovan, another one of those names there. Ezekiel Araku.
Abdul Carter's looks like the next
Boston
Micah
College.
Parsons.
Yeah, this Boston College guy I seen too. I saw some highlight film of him earlier as well. And you said what, Brett?
I said Abdul Carter looks like the next Micah Parsons out of Penn State. He was really good.
Rodney says not a good draft. Not a great draft for draft plug-in players. Mike Green out of Marshall will be a great pro, he says. Jason says the combine is February 27th through March 2nd, so still got another week. Invitations sent out this week. Shiloh Sanders did not receive an invitation to the combine. But says, yes, I am listening. You talking about the national champion Buckeyes? Not for long.
Not for long.
That's what NFL stands for, right? Not for long. That's what we've learned over the years. We appreciate you tuning in to Sports Talk this morning. Get that music rolling, Brett. Prior obligations. Thank you for tuning in. We had a good time. For Mike, Brett, I'm David. We'll see you next week right here on Sports Talk.